the other world first. Thank you for coming to this one first. For people who don't know what that other world is or didn't see our message, I felt careful about not thrusting people into an event that maybe will be really transformative or deepening, even though we're just practicing it tonight. I wanted to give us a chance to just have a regular kind of first part of our event, if that makes sense, where we just check in and talk about what is and isn't working. So let's see. Welcome, Theo. And who else is here? Jay, welcome.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you.
I'm gonna take my spot at your right hand.
Oh. Okay, do I have earmuff mode on? Some places are further away. No, I don't think so. All right. Well, why don't we circle up and start our check-in before we... Yay, you're waving. Hello, hello. Before we check in about our community pain points, which is the first part of our event today. This is a community builder meetup, and so we always start our first hour with kind of deep diving into what's hard about community building. Even though that can feel negative or counterintuitive, there's very few places in community building where we're invited, encouraged, and supported to actually talk about what isn't working before it's on fire. And this is a place that you have some space to pick one thing and share that without it getting fixed. So when we hear people in pain, we want to fix them and we want to make it better instantly and give them the good advice that they were missing until they met us, and now it's going to be okay. But what ends up happening is we bypass the pain that is just there, and we take away the opportunity to grieve and just be with instead of make it different. I do believe this process works. I have heard stories about how when people share their pain points here, they do follow up with each other later at times and check in and can go into kind of deeper conversations on what is or isn't working. But this is a place to just be witnessed and tell the truth and practice reflective listening. So in the last month or so, we've been changing this process a little bit so that you are all actually practicing reflective listening with each other. And this is a really core skill set to community building. How do I mirror you back in a way that doesn't make you recoil? Like if I robotically said everything you just said back to me, that could feel almost mocking or invalidating. But how do I reflect you back in a way that you feel heard and seen and maybe more connected than before? How do I listen for the thing that joins everything you're saying together and give you that without necessarily packaging it in a neat, pretty bow, but just acknowledging there is an aching human being heart inside of all the stories that will be told tonight. So I jump in here and there to coach on that, and I'm going to ask you to volunteer to raise your hand and that everybody gets a chance to try reflective listening. After you have offered your reflection, instead of fixing it, just saying, this is what I heard you say, and then say what it is, and then just say, did I get that? That's the skill we haven't practiced yet that maybe we can try tonight. Did I get that? Does anybody want to try this with me as the first person to share? And then we're going to go through norms before you actually share your pain point, but it might be good to model this so that you can really see it if you've never done this before. Any brave souls who've been here before and know that I don't eat you alive? As a community pain point, it's like, I'll be the first one. Okay, well, I'll let you think about that. Oh, maybe proactive. Okay, good.
I could be the first one.
Awesome.
These are pain points on communities, correct?
It's on community building. Like, where do you get stuck?
Mm-hmm.
Where does it not work? And, what's hurting about that? So you can think
on. Up to your name, proactive.
Exactly. Way to jump in and be like, I already volunteered an hour ago. Okay. So before we do that, though, we're going to actually acknowledge how we build this circle. We are in a circle. Yay. And how do we actually take care of each other tonight and ourselves? So this is where we talk about norms, which is different than guidelines or rules. Norms are the things we choose together, and they change from time to time. And even if we don't talk about them, we still choose them, and we vote on them with our body language and our proximity and our cooperation. So we're going to set some norms on purpose tonight instead of just letting them happen. And you can either observe a norm that is listed in the group description. If you click on the group Bridgemakers under my name, you can see in the description just a list of kind of the culture we're trying to build. You're welcome to read one of those things and maybe describe just a sentence or two about how that's relevant to you. Or you can say something you've seen happen in other groups and you really like that as a norm and you hope we can do that tonight. So we're going to go one direction or the other. Gahooligian or Carl, would you like to start first?
I don't mind starting first, though I do not know the way.
That's okay. What's a group norm that you believe would be good for tonight?
I'm very sorry. I would like to go for where's the is that the
Yeah, it's okay. Take your time. It's the group description. If you click on Carl or me, does anybody else have it on today? Nope, just one of us that has Bridgemakers on it. You can see a description
the
of
norm
our
you said they're in the Discord or inside VR chat itself?
inside VR chat itself. Yeah.
One thing that I kind of hold dear to my heart is the respect of confidentiality within the circle. Oh, excuse me, my sinus is acting up.
That's okay. Take care of you.
Sort of like confidentiality within the circle. I mean, sometimes, at least in my group, we'll discuss things that are hard to talk about, that we don't talk about in everyday settings, sort of thing. Sometimes we put things very candidly, or we will say words and we know what the other person means, but taken out of context, they will not sound right, but you had to have been there for them to sound, kind of thing. And that's something I hold very near and dear to my.
Thank you, Gahooligian. This is such a important one about creating a sense of safety at times. And we're as Bridgemakers, we're in a liminal space. So part of our values is practicing transparency. And that's not everyone's cup of tea. We do stream almost all of our events at this point. And it's about risk reduction instead of risk elimination. And so this is a stage, even though it feels like a random spot out in the middle of an island in some land, maybe Earth, we don't know. It is also a stage where we're demonstrating what it's like to grow as community builders in front of the world. And the world currently for Bridgemakers looks like, I think we have 70 subscribers. So, but there's risk to it. And I want to acknowledge that really openly. And what I appreciate about the people who do come to these events and share, I believe that they're living in that liminal awareness that even if we promise confidentiality, we live in a world even beyond VR where that's not really something we can guarantee, even if people promise it. And I believe that part of the service and actually protecting all of us, including myself, is being very transparent. Because when it's said to be transparent, and then somebody maybe accidentally is recording or whatever, it can risk everybody and it can do harm. So because of the nature of the digital space we live in the world, and because there is so little content of actually showing sincere people trying to do courageous things in playful spaces, and that's what we're doing. So I value the spirit, the heart of confidentiality. I believe that we can all respect that by not necessarily like going to the stream later and sharing out a clip of something someone else said without their permission or whatever else. But this is a space you can go back and review later and learn from. If you do feel like you said something tonight that you're just really uncomfortable with, you can let me know that. I do poll videos every once in a while, and I'll either take pieces out or I just pull it out of the public eye and keep it as a teaching tool for people who are wanting to learn how to be better leaders. So that's also a possibility. And thank you. Was there a question or a thought? I heard somebody's.
I was just getting confused between the whole confidentiality thing and the streaming thing.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think you cleared it up. You said
Okay,
streaming,
good. Yeah, thanks for asking. Yeah, and it's a good one to jump in with. You know, if nothing else, Bridgemakers is deeply real. We tell the truth. If we mess up and we tell half truths, we clean it up later. Like there was more there. So this is the full truth of it. Thank you for being here. And another norm that our group really practices is say hello and say goodbye. If hearing me share that feels just kind of unsettling and you want to step away, I understand. We will understand. But let us know that and then say goodbye. And if you are still wanting to stick around and be on this adventure with us, we're going to do some interesting things. I don't even know completely. You know, glad you're staying. Glad you're here. This is a 2-hour event. Okay, proactive. What's a norm? We're not doing the pain points yet. What's a norm for you?
We're comparing to the ones on Bridgemaker, correct?
Sure. Or again, it can be just like Gahooligian did. It could be a norm in groups that you've been in that you just think, I hope Bridgemakers does this too, or maybe we could try this on tonight. Welcome, Jay. It's nice to see you.
Jay actually
Hey,
said
Jay.
it was ironic.
Yay.
Well, one thing that
Is there another Jason?
another
Oh.
J, you got multiple J's.
It's 2 J's.
All right, one thing that should be a norm and isn't always is more so open communication with issues. Typically, it's just two people have some minor thing that explodes and disrupts the entire group when it could have just been talk between a moderator or the individuals if they're a little more informed and educated instead of reacting.
Yeah, I hope we have more and more communities with living moderators that are like, what? A conflict? Yeah, let's do this.
Yes, it would be nice. There are instances of people just avoiding their responsibilities or just not knowing how to handle a little dispute.
Yeah. So open communication means saying, I'm not okay. And letting people know that so we can choose what to do with that. But if we don't know, because we don't see all the distress that may be happening in you, the racing heartbeat, the looking away. If you're on a computer, we don't have any of that body language. We don't know that you're not okay. So remembering that your fellow humans might care more than you realize and might set boundaries also, but it's okay to say you're not okay and start with that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you. All right, Teacup.
Hi. I think it should be more normal for everyone to quickly ask how everyone's doing before really getting into the weeds of things.
Okay. That's interesting. So,
like for events like this, for example.
Yeah. So checking in and asking, how are you?
Yeah. Maybe not being so eager to jump right in.
Interesting. Okay. Maybe there's a norm we could have when we get more helpers, that helpers start these events about a half hour early, so people who want to come and check in just one-on-one could
Yeah.
do that. Yeah.
And I think that would be healthy because it would things would start off less chaotic and there would already be like a vibe set for people to like attach
Join in. Yeah. That's a beautiful idea. Maybe that's a norm we can build soon. And yeah, I appreciated there was a norm that was happening here where I'm guessing a few people here couldn't hear you, so they just came closer to you really gently. That was really lovely. Not sure if you noticed. Yeah. Theo, what about you? What's a norm for bridge makers for our group tonight? You might be on mute, Theo.
Hello?
Yeah. Hi.
Oh.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah. A norm for like a group setting, for that, I feel like when it comes to people in groups, a sense of abandonment or acceptance into the self is something like we must have to find patience and gentle kindness and compassion for each other, because it's so difficult to be so wrapped into what we do say and how we say it. And I think just having the moment to listen more to another person is truly important, because we can understand each other's experiences and or how we are, so that others grow and ourselves grow from what can be said about the other person in a way that they needed these words today to help them.
Okay. So I hear a value of maybe kindness in that. The norm of being kind and listening and growing. That fit?
Well, like self-sacrificing of that kind of kindness and compassion.
Okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
Theo, what did you mean by self-abandonment?
Mm.
I it seems like when you get so wrapped into how you view things, you'll miss the people who were trying to listen to you
So
or couldn't listen to you because of the
okay.
way you were.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Thank you for sharing that. And my invitation for you along that way is maybe part of your growth in not doing self-abandonment is working using I statements instead of you statements. That's a way to kind of start with where you're coming from. Does that make sense? So saying I feel like I need kindness today. I need people to listen to me and I want to listen to others. Does that make sense? Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. Okay, Scott, your turn. What's a norm? Been here before. Give us one we've heard, we practice.
I like the greeting and salutations kind of norm is, when someone comes into the space,
Yeah.
somebody can welcome them, and, hopefully they also, don't feel too shy to say, hello, I'm here.
Mm.
I think that kind of goes along with some of Teacup's sentiment that, at least that's a little bit of a check-in when somebody arrives. Yeah.
Well, speaking of arrivals, Blast from the Past has arrived. Welcome, Kordite. Wow. I feel like
Good
I'm
evening.
back in 2024 right now all of a sudden. It's good to have you here.
I'm Warp.
Oh, you're warp.
That was probably the last time I was home at this time.
Wow. Well, welcome home. Okay, so thank you, Scott. That was really theatrical to have you saying we really need to say welcome to people, and then Kordite shows up, ready to be welcomed.
Yeah, how are you doing?
Teacup's outplaying his norm. How are you, Kordite? Just briefly, because we're doing norms. Yeah.
Oh, I'm all right.
All right.
I'm just adjusting world volume here.
Yeah. Good deal.
The lovely goals.
Uh-huh.
My ears.
Lovely. Okay. Jay, your turn. What's a norm?
This keeps changing because you keep moving. You don't want to
What?
go, do you? I said you don't want to
What's-
go,
No,
do you?
I'm trying to hear. I'm trying to hear people. I can went
What's-
first. I don't care.
What's
You're
happening?
on this side, and then you're on this side.
Okay,
I'm like,
okay,
what's going-
okay. It's Jay. It's Jay. And then it'll be Blaine.
I love it. No. A norm should be no. I'm just kidding. No, I just got here, so I apologize. I usually come at like 7:00, thinking this event's at 7:00, but it's always at 6. I don't know why I keep thinking it's at 7. But anyway, I'm here. And I love what I've heard so far. So, as far as like norms that I remember from attending different events here in Bridgemakers. So we're coming up with new norms. Are we reciting older ones or ones that we already practice?
If you can honor Bridgemakers norms as you remember them, that's awesome. And if you don't know them and you want to try introducing a new one, you can do that.
No. I do. I just didn't know if we were introducing new ones as well. Okay, so the importance, just as it is to recognize when someone comes to be with us and welcome them to the group. Another one is to always say goodbye. It's just as important as saying hello. So hello and goodbye. So if you have to leave or step out for whatever reason, just know that you're important and that we want to know why you left. If you can, share that. Or, if not, then just say you have to go and we understand. But it's definitely better than just ghosting. So
Yeah.
saying
Said
goodbye.
the ghost. Said the ghost with the little top hat.
Exactly.
Okay. Good deal.
There you go.
So there's a
You're
norm
actually
that
flying. That's your head.
there's a norm that has actually gotten started by one person, and now it's happening by more and more people. Does anybody know what that norm is?
The emojis.
Yeah. This is how norms are born, right? Is one person does
Mhm.
one thing and it catches on, and another person, we all start. So that is an absolute norm of how we active listen with each other, is we use emojis. And it often will
Mhm.
rebirth itself even if we don't name it. So thank you for all the emojis
Mhm.
coming out. All right, Blaine.
I'm gonna be honest. I completely forgot emojis were a thing.
Yeah.
So I've been to a lot of different events, self-development, business, all kinds of different things. And actually, before I go to that, I still can't find the norms to bridge makers. So you don't have to show me right now, but yeah, I don't know what that is. I'm trying to find it. But yeah, I've been to lots of events, business events, entrepreneurial events, and like self-development events, and stuff like that. And one thing that I really loved from those events, and we don't have to do it here or whatever, but a big thing that a lot of the leadership there talk about is altering the state of your mind by altering the state of your body. So oftentimes when I go to these events, one of the first things we all do is actually stand up. We'll like shout, or maybe like do jumping jacks or dance around or do something to kind of inject energy into the body, and it elevates everyone's mental state, so everyone's more excited about the situation. Not every event calls for that, of course, but for there specifically, we wanted like more alertness, so we wanted that focus from the stimulation of the active body and stuff like that. I really like that one, especially because like if I'm feeling down and like I go to a class or to that or something and they make me jump around stuff like that, like I immediately the endorphins and everything, I'm getting excited and all that stuff, and it changes my mental state.
That's really interesting, Blaine. I feel like you need to meet the open mind facilitator, Dre. They might love to have you come co-facilitate with them. They do these motivational events that are very much like that. And maybe someday you can do that with Bridgemakers. You can start events with everybody jumping up and down. If anybody would like to jump up and down in solidarity to Blaine right now, you are welcome to, but that is not part of the initial container. Yeah, we can do it with our avatars. There we go.
Wow, you're doing it while sitting.
Exactly. This is core power, core avatar power.
I'm getting a flashback to a Tony Robbins seminar.
Yeah,
Nice.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Jay number 2. Jaysycamore.
Yes. Okay.
Jaysycamore.
Sycamore. Yeah. Well, okay. First of all, like, are my microphone settings okay? I've got an AC running in the background that's not
I don't hear it.
blaring out through my mic.
You're good.
It sounds great.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. Well, so one of the things that I value, is the habit of touching base when if I can't meet up, because this actually happened recently. I signed up for an event, but I mean, for me, it's a big transgression when if somebody doesn't meet up when they planned to. I actually, but yes, try to find I think maybe somebody else already covered this, but if somebody can't make an event, that they can at least say, hey, I'm sorry, can we meet up again some other time? Or try to make up for it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're wanting communication, especially if you've RSVP'd.
Yes, yeah. I didn't miss out on an event that I RSVP'd, but
Thank you, Jay. That's real, and that actually is a way. If you ever think, wow, that leader seems like they're burning out, make sure you're communicating as much as possible with them to make it so they don't have to worry or wonder what kind of value they're bringing. So yeah, that's lovely. George, your turn.
I haven't heard this one in a while, but I think iteration. Can't recall if that was a norm, but it was brought up because that's been a very some of the norms and practices and realizations I found through here at Bridgemakers are channeling out into my IRL patterns and ways of interacting. So the iterations on here are now reiterating IRL, and it's surprisingly uncomfortable but impactful to make some of those changes. But I'm really, really grateful for that.
Oh, that's lovely. That's really good to hear. Yeah, so iteration. Anybody have a definition for that word? If you just wanting to make sure everybody knows what that word is.
Kind of reminds me of integration.
When you iterate on something, improve upon it?
Yeah, exactly. So iteration is this idea that perfection can never be reached. We can only just kind of add a better layer to it, but recount it. Go back again, try again. And it can feel kind of irritating to be iterating when you've been through it before. There are people here who've been through norm setting with Bridgemakers for almost a year now. Every time we do a group, we set norms. And that can be irritating. But when we're irritated, we either leave or we dig our roots down and we grow deeper. And we meditate on it, and we let it be that kind of sound that changes our hearts. We listen to it with fresh ears and eyes so that we can learn something new in a familiar place. Iteration also means world design. One of the things we're going to do soon tonight is we're going to go to an iterative world that has been getting drafts done, and we're going to test it by actually doing a sneak preview of the process we're going to do at our 1-year anniversary event. And we're also grateful to Scott for giving us something to test in as he iterates. Yay.
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah. So that's a great one, George. That's actually a value of Bridgemakers. That's one of our 5 values. And we can change those values too. But it's good to hear that one's working for you. Blaine, would you like to go again? Because you just are popping up everywhere.
Close, I can hear you.
I know. I got you. Okay, what about you, Kordite? You remember our norms. You're an old hat at this.
Can I get a quick summary what's been covered? Because I missed probably half a dozen.
Just
duplicate.
go. That's okay. There's been a lot of duplicates tonight, so go with your gut.
Did we do set status to orange?
No.
What?
I know, that's such a one that usually gets named first, and it
That's
did
my
not.
usual one.
Yeah, good job. Way to remember that one, Kordite. Thank you. So we set status to orange so that our friends don't pop in on us and then get annoyed with us or the group, because we're doing something a little more structured than most people in VR chat are used to. If you do have somebody who requests to join on you, go ahead if you want and accept it if you think they could enjoy or get something out of this. Just meet them somewhere else in the world out of earshot and let them know what's going on. Read the bridge maker's description to them, etc., and see if they want to participate. So thank you. Carl, your turn.
Yeah. I'm gonna practice my norm real quick, and it is, I'd say, one that's kind of unspoken, but definitely a thing Bridgemakers does. But let's say accountability. I only listened to maybe a third of these because my wife got home and people kept distracting me, and so there's a lot of folks. So I'm sure all of the kind of usual ones I say did get mentioned, but in that sense, just in general, like, if you RSVP for a thing, you might get pinged to say, hey, said you were going to come, or, if you say you're going to have a discussion later on the Discord, somebody might, feel let down if that post doesn't end up getting made and they were hoping to continue that conversation. So just that kind of soft, accountability I always try to have where, if I fail in something, I want to be called out. So I try to do the same in a, non-confrontational way that's going to make sure everybody's kind of participating in a way.
Thank you, Carl. Accountability is another amazing value. Values come up all the time in Bridgemakers. It can feel scary in a place of feeling like shame or guilt, but it can also feel like relief to tell the truth and change our behavior to match that truth and be better with each other. So that's a deeper one that I think as people spend more time with Bridgemakers, they naturally start to practice. How do I clean it up when I mess up? Because expecting myself to not mess up is an outcome where I will fail for sure all the time. But expecting that I get better at cleaning it up and doing better with setting my own boundaries so I can show up when I say I'm going to show up, or acknowledge when I didn't listen, that's truth. And that's precious. So thank you. Thank you for being real. I always feel so oriented after we do our norm circle, and we have a bit more of people than we usually do at night in these evenings. So I might pivot a little bit because I don't want to scrunch our time testing out Scott's world. And so what I would invite is maybe we will world hop over there now to try that out, and then we'll start our process of either you can participate in the activity by answering one of the questions on the cards, or you can share a community pain point, and that gives you an opt-out if you don't want to go super deep and vulnerable. You can just talk about why it's hard to connect with people. So let's drop a portal.
Can you just say that again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I'll say it again in the world. Basically, we're going to...
Yeah, it'll make more sense when we're there.
Yeah, it's a good question, though. Thank you for clarifying. So, Scott...
maybe for extra credit, I don't know if we'll be able to kind of take a question that relates to something we may want to share as a woe. I haven't seen the questions yet. They were just cubes last time I went.
Yeah, there you go. Find a question that fits with your woe and answer it. Okay, so who's dropping the portal, Carl or Scott? It can be Friends Plus is fine.
I can drop
I think
the
Scott
portal.
can do
I
it.
know
group.
In the past, I've had trouble creating a portal to an instance.
Okay, I can do
So
it.
should I do?
You know, and I just gave people admin. All helper 2s now have moderator access too. So, but I just
let me try it then, because
okay.
I could have it and just not know it. Let me try.
Yeah, I've got the portal in my hand right now. If you want me to just throw it down.
Okay.
Oh, to the world, sure. Yeah,
I
thank
also
you, Carl.
let's do Carl's. Rawr, power. Let's do it. Let's check out this ceremonial space. Yay. Come in.
In we go.
In we go. Zoom.
Friday off of work.
Awesome. Oh, it's a campfire.
Wow. Look at that cute little campfire. It's so starry and beautiful. Look at that.
2 minutes to grab a drink.
Okay. Yeah. Look at that. And the little mice, you all look so perfectly sized for that fire. It's like made for mice.
It's like, yeah, donut hole sized fire.
It is. It's like a
nice atmosphere too.
Oh,
so
that's so nice.
So part of what we do on Friday nights is we do a little bit of a world hop, like coming to worlds like this, and we review them as community builders. We will ask ourselves, how does this world make community and how does it break community? Tonight's a little different, but we could answer that question after we've experienced it. We're just going to actually experience it the way it was intended tonight, and we don't usually go that deep into worlds. So for context, for those of you who don't know, we have a once-month event called a Leadership Summit, and it is a time for people who are choosing to practice their community building on purpose and recognize that they have influence and they have power. And this is a place to get some information on how Bridgemakers is growing and some demonstrations and access to what we're learning. But it's also a time to deepen our relationships with each other and network and learn about being leaders. And so this world is going to be part of the activity that we do. It might take all the time, and that's okay too, where we're going to reflect on, well, I'll let Scott introduce that part. Tell us about your world, Scott.
Sure. There's kind of a handful of tiles near where we spawned in, and they're kind of slowly loading some mindful questions. Which are kind of oriented to like reflecting on something that's occurred or been inspiring or been a learning lesson like in the last year or so. And the concept is, perhaps would it be helpful if I demonstrated one? Maybe I'll go ahead and grab a question and maybe start.
Sure.
And, okay, so I'm just gonna, let's see.
Oh, I think Blaine actually is doing your demo for you, accidentally.
Oh, great! Did it get? Yeah. So if your
got caught in the air.
Tile it touches the campfire, what it does is it's gonna work its way over to the chasm behind us, and it's gonna begin building a bridge, which kind of represents our transition into year 2 of a community.
Yay!
That's cool.
So, sorry, the
Very
animation
touching.
stole your question. Do you remember your question?
Do you remember the one?
What did you learn in the last year?
Oh, nice. I'm glad you remembered it. I didn't mean for the technology to kind of take it from you.
Yeah.
That's a lesson
So
learned.
let's aim for about a minute or so to try to answer your question, and I'm going to reiterate the instructions from the other world. If you don't want to answer the question on the card, you can still acknowledge it, but also you can just talk about one community builder pain point. What is it like to be, where do you ache around building community? So that's an opt-out. You can still share. Yeah.
Oh, I'm answering the question. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, is this for me?
Did I get the wrong person?
Oh,
I think we grab them when they fly over.
We're testing this world. Yeah. Well, I guess Proactive got Blaine's question.
Okay, yeah, I mixed them up.
That's okay. Yeah. Well, Proactive was going to start already, so why don't you start with that question, Proactive, and then Blaine can also answer.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
So reading, then fire toss, and it does its thing, correct?
Or read, answer, then fire toss, and it does its thing. It's up to you.
I see. All right.
And disclaimer, real quick, I might have broken it because when I was first in here messing around, and I grabbed one of the things that had already traveled over to be the bridge, then didn't interact with the fire again after that. So your card might not work further.
Well, that's
okay.
Bridge we'll cross when we get to it.
Maybe it's going to be a dangerous bridge.
It's going to be a holy bridge. Okay, go ahead, Proactive.
All right.
Thanks for leading us off.
So what is one thing you learned about yourself this past year? Oh, I'd say the one thing is I realized how I kept myself emotionally distant from people. And that's kind of common here as well. You just have to identify it and realize you were in that scenario. And yeah, that's really it. It's nothing too deep.
It's real. Yeah, thank you for sharing. Let's see what happens when you try to burn your card. Where did it go?
I think it's still, it just
We're
dropped.
testing.
It's still there.
It's in the fire.
that's the broken one?
It's the immovable wedge that we all can answer if we want to. Did we lose Proactive to the cliff? Okay. And you fell down the chasm.
I didn't like the chasm.
The vulnerability chasm. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing. All right. Blaine, would you like to go next?
Sure. Do I grab a new card? Or?
You can, yeah. Keep it away from the fire.
What moment made you laugh unexpectedly? Well, I guess I'll make one related to the avatar I'm doing. I was playing Repo. Oh, are you guys familiar with Repo or no?
No.
Yep.
Repo? Okay. So for context, in Repo, you play a little robot like this, and you collect a bunch of like items and stuff for tax collector or whatever the main character is. And one of the items in there is like an hourglass. And when you pick that up, it like slows down everything, so your voice gets like super slow and it's super deep. I would not be able to imitate it because it's using some kind of audio technology thing or like that. But it just sounds so funny. So the first time I did that with my friends, it just cracked us up. We were all laughing, and the worst part or best part is when we were laughing, the laughter was slowed down and super deep as well.
Nice, beautiful technology trick of sorts.
Oh, is it card?
Yay! Look at that. Huh?
You're supposed to do that.
It is. Yeah. Yay. Thank you, Blaine. Your laughter was because of your character. And you got everybody else laughing with you. Okay. Gahooligian.
What was a small act of kindness I received? I'm just gonna go within the past year here. There's been times where I was not okay. I was rather disheveled, and We always try to put on our best face in public, that sort of thing. But there's, I have friends who can see right through that. And they just straight up ask me, "Are you okay?" And so, like, me being me in this kind of environment, not super used to that type of thing, right? And just the inquiry alone, I consider to be sort of like a great act of kindness. It was just that person being that person. That's who they are as a human being. But, to me, that was an act of kindness. I would have had to go out of my way to sort of do that. And that's something I would like to do more of. I want that person to be me, type of thing. I admire that trait. And so I endeavor to be more like.
Yeah. That's lovely, Gahooligian. Thank you. Oh. Carl, your turn.
What's happening?
The bridge is building.
I did just wake up as well, so my voice is... Okay, so I grabbed the card that says, what was a meaningful risk you took? Now, I am going to answer this kind of in the more just like, not as a yearly thing for the, like, summit activity, but just for, tonight, woe sharing kind of thing. I had just a work situation, to put it as simply as possible for brevity. We have our kind of department, our crew, and we go out for like at the end of the week, we'll go to Waffle House or Cracker Barrel or something because we get off, at 6 a.m. So, but there's another, there's other departments. You got safety department, quality department, but generally we've been kind of antagonistic with the safety department, because they took the wheels from our chairs, but there's one person that was newer in that department, and just kind of chatting outside, and I kind of felt that like pull that she was kind of just trying to connect, and so I kind of just casually dropped like, oh yeah, we go to Cracker Barrel or Waffle House or something, you should come. And she just was like very, very, like, it was obvious that she was just super grateful to be invited. And there's a little bit of fallout when I told the group, like, oh yeah, I invited the safety lady. They're like, crazy. But, I, people don't get too upset with me, and I'm just like, it'll be fine. And, she ended up coming this morning, where I went to bed after work, and had a nice little group. And even after we left, she messaged me again and was just like, saying, thank you so much for inviting me. And I was glad I offered that.
Oh, thank you, Carl. Lots of emojis to you. Jay.
Oh yeah, I gotta throw it in the fire. I forgot.
Yeah. There it goes.
That Jay or Ghost Jay?
Oh, Jay, okay. Jay, tiny ghost with card, Jay.
This card looks huge to me, by the way, when I pick it up. So it's like huge. I don't know if it looks like that to everybody else, but yeah, it feels like I'm holding, like, I don't know. But yeah, so mine is, how did you practice gratitude intentionally? And the way I can answer that is, sometimes I visualize shopping when I can do it as a way of manifesting what it is that I want. And so when I pick something and it shows up at my door, like through Amazon delivery or whatever, I'm very grateful that whatever I ordered showed up as I intended it to show up. And I'm grateful that I had the money to purchase whatever it is that showed up, and how it added to my life in whatever way, or my cat's life if it's for my cat or whatever. But yeah, so that's how I practice gratitude intentionally, is just by saying thank you whenever I go pick something up from the door or eat something out of the fridge or something like that. I think that's a way of practicing gratitude intentionally.
That's awesome.
If that makes sense.
Yeah,
So,
it's cultural.
right.
I love it.
Yeah. There you go.
Let's see. Blaine, did you find a card, or you already did one? You were moving around. Okay. So the other J.
Yes, mine is asks, what challenge did you overcome that you're proud of? Okay, so for me, I I really have a need to be open with people I consider close friends. And it is, but it is really tricky to do. It is really challenging because, I expect that, most people are going to tell me, well, you should just lump it or go talk to a therapist. I can't help you with that. There have been, several instances this year where I actually have said I'm not doing well. I've got this big thing I'm struggling with. I just need, a shoulder to cry on for a few minutes, and they I've actually had several opening responses to that. Um, people there have been people who actually have permitted me to actually come and talk to them. So yes, it's going to be hard for the rest of my life to try to do this, but yes, that is reassuring to us. There are learning that there are people who are willing to listen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's beautiful. Reminds me of who else was sharing this. Just that need to be vulnerable. I think that was Proactive and even Teacup. Wow.
Did it get stuck?
I know. That was wild. It was like ding, 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 ding. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Jay and Jay. Theo.
Getting his card.
Oh, who's getting their card?
George was next. He's getting his card.
Oh, okay.
Oh, George Baham's grabbing a card.
Gotcha. Do you have your card, Theo?
I'll grab mine once he's back.
All right, George.
What emotion did you learn to better understand? It was frustration, because that is actually an emotion that when it's strong, like, it's easy to recognize, but it's one of those emotions that creeps up in life in really subtle ways that's hard to recognize. It's such a sneaky emotion, but it always heals through some recognition and mindful, sort of validation of oneself to sort of process, like a bit of mindful processing of frustration is just so valuable to me. Yeah, and
I've never heard frustration
recognizing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and it helped me recognize it in others and kind of emphasize with others and help others understand it in their own life too, which can really, really, really help other people navigate this tricky emotion.
So the validation to say, you seem frustrated. And off it goes. Goodbye, frustration.
There it goes again. I like it.
Yay.
Warping back. There it goes.
Okay. Who else? Is Theo? Theo's still over there?
Still, I don't know.
Yeah, he's getting a card.
So I'm going to challenge myself to run over right now, and I'm not going to look at the questions. I'm just going to pick a random one.
I couldn't even figure.
I'm going to pick another random one.
Wow, you answered that so fast.
I answered it before. You couldn't even hear me answer it. So, okay, Theo.
Yeah, I felt kind of overwhelmed by the choices, and I was just like, I don't know.
Oh, sure.
So I chose it randomly. What was your favorite place to reflect? I think I always reflect the most when I'm with others. A lot of the times I'm able to reflect on myself and how I am, what I say, where I say it. But but I reflect the most like in a place. I reflect when I'm not home. When I'm not home, because I associate a lot of things with home. I associate a lot of places around home with things, and so when I reflect is when I'm not home, because I'm able to, or when I'm not thinking about being home, I guess. Because home, like the way you think about home can also be the way your mind thinks of it, but when you're able to ground yourself without thinking about anything is always when I can reflect the most. I guess like it's just been lately dreaming and people. Dreams and people have been the places where I've reflected the most. Because something I learned recently is I have to do that more for myself so that I'm not ignoring everything.
There's a mythologist named Michael Meade who talks about how we cannot gain reflection on ourselves unless we leave the space we call comfortable. We actually have to go on a path outward, which causes us to go on a path inward. That really fits. Yeah. Thank you, Theo. Okay. My question is, what boundary did you establish that helped you? This has been a week of boundary setting. My goodness. Like almost, I would say, 1 to 2 meetings per day where I've had to set boundaries. So hopefully they help me. And I would say that the boundary growth that I'm in right now is realizing that a very core part of my purpose on this planet, in this body, for the rest of my life, is to teach conflict resiliency. And because I am so humanistic, I had a father who was a really good salesman and a really bad salesman, you know. He could sell anything to anybody, but also I got to see their repercussions when he pushed or pulled people in a way that eventually hurt them. They became embittered or vengeful towards him. And so I learned very deeply what it meant to sell people in a way that they were not ready for. And I have a deep fear of doing that. So really respecting people's autonomy to be on their path, etc. And yet my calling is to teach conflict resiliency. And I've developed a model on that. And many times in relationship with people, what happens is the model that I grow and I teach and I live in every moment is seen, I think, by people who care about me as this kind of like, well, I do tennis and Heyuh does conflict resiliency. That's her hobby. This is mine. But it's not a hobby for me. And so some of the hard conversations I've been having lately is talking to people that I've built relationships with where I'm supporting them quite a bit. And they have never leaned in or asked or recognized that they had access to information to understand what my purpose and path is and join in that. Not just personally, but purposefully, because we are in a world that is burning down from conflict on so many levels. And this model actually explains for me a lot of that to the point where I can predict it many times. So I'm having to almost release somewhat of a boundary inside of myself between my personal values and my purposeful work, and recognize that people in my life who choose me also choose to practice conflict resiliency, and recognize this map as not about Heyuh, it's about human. And so we can all use some element of that idea of conflict resiliency to tune in and step up. And so that is my boundary that I've been setting. If you choose to be near me, you choose to practice conflict resiliency, and we will work with that together. But I'm not going to keep pushing this aside as, oh, you might not want to learn your own emotional fluency. I'm going to say, here's how I'm feeling about that. How are you feeling? And then we get to negotiate and see what the boundaries really are there. But I've kind of just been assuming a boundary that maybe hasn't been there and could have been a bridge all of this time. So that is my answer to this question. I hope it will help me, but to be continued. Maybe year 3 and I'll get this card again and I'll be like, it didn't work. I don't know. It's thinking about going. Okay, now it's going. Wow, cool. Okay. Teacup, your turn.
Hey.
Hey.
What habits helped you stay grounded? Definitely cleaning. I feel like cleaning helps me stay grounded. If I'm like too lost in my head, or if I've had really crazy dreams, or I've been absorbed in politics or news or anything really, and I feel like you know, I'm not eating as much or whatever, if I start cleaning, I'll suddenly just snap right back to reality, and it's that. So cleaning.
Beautiful. Thank you, Teacup. Yeah, that would have been cool though. I appreciate that you stood up to grab it. Now you're getting down. That's just amazing. Okay, well done. Way to stay with the vibe.
Nice toss.
Yeah. Okay, Scott.
It looks like my question is like, what is your favorite way to recharge or rest? Which actually for me is kind of a 2-part question, because what recharges me, like I wouldn't consider rest. But I think I'll go with the rest part first, because the interesting thing to me there is, you know, especially where dreams came up. If I sleep without an alarm clock, I usually have very vivid dreams that I kind of cherish, because they're usually meaningful in a way that's like insightful to something that I've been contemplating. And you know, because of my like 9 to 5er kind of lifestyle, like I sort of have to set my alarm like out of that opportunity to get these dreams. So I've been like chasing ways to get really good rest to where I can have some of these really meaningful dreams, and like one way is just like risking my career, putting my like needs ahead of you know, the career. And I've actually been allowing myself, you know, a few times a week to just not set my alarm and like get up and start work like when my body just naturally wakes up. And although it's not technically like allowed, there's very little that happens like in the early morning that needs like urgent attention. And I have a desk job, so like I can make up hours. So I'm just trying to make it work and chase that like deep rest that makes me feel really restored when I wake up. So it's my goal like for the next year and a half, you know, to kind of find that habit of how do I get this body like the deep rest that, you know, it tells me it needs, but I just can't seem to find a routine for.
Wow.
But the recharge, like I almost kind of consider recharge like that spice of life. Like what is it that makes you know, like all the things you do like make sense? Like where does that come from? Like what's the core of that? And you know, for me, it's like being able to choose like who you spend your time with and who you connect with, because like we have work relationships and we have like obligatory kind of like family connections in some respects and things, but in a modern world, that's really hectic and got to make ends meet, like you often don't have a lot of time to choose like who you spend it with. And that's one of the reasons that I love like VR communities so much, is like an event like this is the place where like we're choosing like to be with one another, in this like space and time in a meaningful way. And I cannot like emphasize how much that like recharges me and like, makes me go into the next day saying like, all right, like when are we going to do more of that? So those are kind of my rest and recharge answers. So let's toss this one in the fire. Here we go.
Thank you, Scott. Wow.
There was like a brief second when I was coming out of the fire where it was highlighted. I was wondering if it was grabbable.
I think it is. I think it could be like stolen out of
the air and be like, that's my question too. No bridge building yet.
I want that question.
Okay, somebody can try to catch Kordites when he. That's right. All right, Kordite, your turn.
The final piece.
Yeah.
Oh, I get to be last.
Yay.
What lesson came from a tough conversation? This will be a bit of stream of consciousness, I suppose, and hopefully not too tropey. I'd say lessons. There's been many tough conversations. I think every time there's a tough conversation, it's still tough. That's one lesson. It doesn't matter how many you've had. They're not necessarily easier, because then it wouldn't be a tough conversation. And I find that the relationship between what makes it a tough conversation interesting, and that someone you don't know well, the things you might find to be tough are easier in a sense, that the stakes are lower, but they're more difficult in how you might initiate them, or if you might discuss them at all. While the closer you are to someone, the fear and the stakes are higher, both to yourself in being hurt or fear of loss, to them, and if you have love and care for them, consideration for their hurt or feelings, unknown. We all fear the unknown, how they might react. So, and that those effects all transpire to contribute to a hesitancy to not have this conversation, whatever that is, whether it's like, oh, it's not important because I don't know them that well, or I don't want to hurt them, or I'm afraid of it, or the consequences of this, or the fallout, or whatever. That shouldn't be a reason to not have it. That should be a reason to have the conversation. If you feel it's tough, it's a sign that it has to happen. And that doesn't mean that you shouldn't, throw caution to the wind and just say, oh, screw how they feel. I'm just going to drop it out there on the table. If it's a conversation, then it involves two or more people that have input and have a say and an emotional investment in what's happening. So you should have that consideration for them, but don't forget to have it for yourself as well. If you need to have that talk, then definitely do so.
Thank you, Kordite. Who's going to get the tough
I
conversation
commit thee to
question?
the sky.
Oh,
raised to the heavens.
Oh, goodbye. Goodbye, tough conversation question.
I'll be right back.
Okay, thank you, Jay.
I consider grabbing it mid-flight a bridge shaker move.
That question was seems familiar.
Yeah, we've definitely got some harder, deeper questions here. So, semi-pop quiz. No urgency to this, but this is a time where we can actually weave this circle a little deeper by hearing some of people's answers and giving them another question if they're open for a question. Not to be answered, but just to be held as a gift. We've done this before, and it's some of you've heard me talk about questions are like doorways. Sometimes we want to open them and go through them and close the door, but sometimes we can just open the door and let them be there. And that's the gift we can give each other of curiosity. So from what you heard here tonight, from something that touched your heart, do you have a question to offer somebody else about what they said?
I don't have a question, but I did want to comment on the sales thing you were talking about with your dad. Like, I found that super relatable in the sense of with me. That's one of the things I don't like about sales. I've done sales before, but yeah, some of my managers and stuff will push me so hard. Like, you gotta sell to them even if they don't want it. You gotta sell to them. I don't like that. It doesn't feel good to me.
Yeah. Thank you, Blaine. Yeah, it can be also very heartening to offer a comment. Comments can also be in a place of kind of, I want to connect with you, but also I want to add something to what you said. And that can be lovely. And as much as possible, trying to offer each other that curiosity is what's invited here. So who else?
George. I have some questions about frustration, but I'm not going to ask them now. So if I could talk to you later on, that would be cool.
Can you find?
Oh, sure. I'll have some time later.
Can you find one question to just give as a gift for us all to hear without fixing it or answering it?
Yeah. How do you deal with frustration in general?
Okay, good. So that's your gift, George. You can just hold that and be more curious. Yeah, thank you, Teacup.
I have one for, forgive me, I'm still getting used to names, but Theo.
Theo.
In what way is home different than other places?
Ooh, that's beautiful. So you get to hold that one, Theo. In what way is home different than other places?
I could answer, or just...
You get to hold it. The medicine of this is not to finish things. It's to let them be open. Let them stay. Beautiful.
Gotcha.
Who else? Who has a question for somebody else?
I got a question.
Okay. Who's your question for?
Me? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, I forgot your name. Hold on, I gotta put my glasses on. Hold on. Sorry, I've had my sleep mask on for a little bit. But Kordite, correct? Kordite.
Kordite.
Yes. So yeah, what do you have any strategies for how to make hard conversations? Like how to maybe have a approach them, like make them not so hard, like maybe some sort of systematic desensitization towards them, or easing your way into them. Do you have any ways of doing that?
Yeah. I mean, I think again,
I'm gonna intercede. I know you want to. I know. You get to just hold the question. What are strategies to make a tough conversation less tough? What are strategies?
Okay.
Because you're not answering it, we all get to imagine what your answers are. And that allows us to tap our own answers and find some of those, and maybe even come to you later and say, okay, really, but what was your question before Heyuh shut you down? So be with the suspension. Kordite has the best answer ever, and we get to just sit with that and know that Kordite has wisdom that he was ready to share. It's uncomfortable, but I appreciate you all yielding to
something I can have by keeping my mouth shut.
Nice.
Let's not dispel the illusion by having me speak. So
yeah, you get to hold. Beautiful. All right. Who else has a question? George, go for it.
Yeah, for proactive, what are some ways you can celebrate the successes in your journey towards more openness?
Oh, that's a good one, George.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Hold that one. What are ways to celebrate the successes as you become more open? Oof. That is
So how long do they have to sit with these questions before they reveal the answer? Because I'm thinking this is a great engagement technique for the Discord for everybody to go write their responses on Discord.
There you go. You can do that. And actually, that brings up a piece that some of you may have seen as an announcement. So before we keep going, I'll let you know, for those of you who have introduced yourself, welcome, Brian. Nice to see you. For those of you who have introduced yourself on our Discord, already started, but in the next week, you're going to receive 2 to 3 questions as a thread to your introduction. And those questions are a combination of teamwork, of some AI support, and of some gentle screening from people who maybe have interacted with you before or who want to know more about you. And this is actually helping get ready also for our summit. So if you haven't introduced yourself, please do that. So you can also receive a couple questions about your introduction and about who you've been with Bridgemakers. And if you have the burden to answer the question you've received tonight and want to start that in the discussion, you're also welcome to do that. You can do that either in our general chat or in the event chat or anywhere, and then it'll get forwarded to the right place. So thank you. Beautiful. So Brian, to orient you to what we're doing, we're basically, we've all shared different answers to questions laid out on the ground over there, and now we're offering each other an additional question to what we shared. So who else has a question for somebody here?
I had a question for Jay.
Okay, which Jay? Jay Ghost?
JayW.
Okay, Jay.
Yeah, Jay Ghost.
Yes.
Talking about gratitude, how can you be more into that space than just what you experience that you can become grateful to? How can you expand gratitude?
How do you expand gratitude? That's quite a question to hold. Hey, Jose's here. Welcome. Okay, Teacup has a question. Who's your question for, Teacup?
Hey, Carl Pagan. How'd you come up with the great name? And why do you love clowns so much?
Oh, there you go, Carl. Those are great questions for you.
More of that, like literally, again, my wife had just come in and spoke to me. What was that? Sorry.
Okay, so I'll give you the question. You can't answer it.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Teacup.
Why do you love clowns? And how did you come up with the name Carl Pagan? But you're not allowed to.
Those are his favorite things to answer, so you're definitely going to see that as an answer on the Discord. Carl's going to start the thread, being like, fine, I'll do it here. I'll give you an illustration. Okay, good job. You're all stirring each other up deeply. Brian and Jose, well, we're still in our process. If you would like to grab a question and just give your answer for it, you're welcome to try. What is your answer to that question, Jose? Hopefully you read it.
Answer is super fast.
Oh, that was a blank card.
Oh,
I see writing on it.
I do too.
What was your most?
There's a blank card.
The question was, what was your most peaceful day like?
Question.
And because
the question is, what in the heck is
if you have an answer for that, you're welcome to, or you can think about it and answer it on the Discord in the big question storm that may erupt from this whole circle. It's up to you. Yeah.
I'll get another card.
Okay. Not most peaceful day. Brian, do you want to answer your question?
When did you find joy in solitude? I guess when you have free time just to focus on yourself, working on projects is pretty nice.
The joy of
taking care of
flow.
other people.
Yeah.
Get to take care of
Beautiful.
yourself in solitude.
Thank you. Put that in the fire. Off it goes to build our bridge. They almost look like little envelopes with bridge maker stamps on them or something. Kind of beautiful. Okay, Jose.
What did you create that you're proud of? I'm very proud of that YouTube short that I edited of Heyuh talking about body language and greeting people and doing it within 30 seconds.
Yeah, thank you, Jose. Such a key message. If you aren't following, Jose is one of our helpers and is really stirring up some new interest on our YouTube channel by taking some of these longer streams and editing them down to little 1 to 2 minute shorts. And I love hearing you feel that pride. It was an honor to have that message carry forward. We were talking about at our last summit how people come into a space, and especially if they are people who have identities that they are marginalized for in physical reality, it's about a 30-second window before they're usually going to go away. And that's my observation, being a social scientist in VR for years now. And for somebody who has more majority identity, it's around 2 minutes. They have a little bit more of a threshold before they're going to disappear if nobody welcomes them. Just keeping in mind that people who disappear fast are often in a place of already losing identity in a lot of other places. And when they're not greeted, it is another cut. And too many cuts make us collapse and run off. So, yeah, thank you for your amplification of that message. It's a painful one, but it's an important one to remind us we are all citizens of this space. We all have the opportunity to make space for somebody who would normally just go away. Okay, so many good ones. Who else has a question here that you haven't asked, but somebody shared something that touched you and you want to give them a question as an uncomfortable, delightful gift for them to carry with them and maybe share on our Discord later?
I'd like to ask one. Again, at George. Now, I apologize. I don't remember what your answer was to your question that you tossed into the lovely fire.
Oh, it was familiarity with the emotion of frustration and how impactful that's been.
Okay. So this would be in the past year. Would you say any of those instances of you dealing with frustration were a make or break in your life where you thought, if I don't deal with this, something drastically negative could happen?
That's a great one. Yeah, sometimes frustration is on a precipice. Okay. Who else has not asked a question but would like to try to ask one to somebody they heard share a thing? Who else here would like a question who hasn't received a question yet?
Me.
Ooh, Teacup. So Teacup, remind us of your question and your answer.
I'm sorry, I thought... Can you repeat what you just said?
Have you gotten a question from anybody tonight yet?
No.
And would you like a question?
Yes.
Okay. So remind us what you were asked and what you shared.
Wait, I wasn't at anything. I'm sorry, I'm confused.
Okay, no worries. Is this your card right here?
No, I threw my card into the fire. Oh!
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, thanks, Proactive. Yeah, Brian, if you don't mind muting while you're not talking, that would be helpful. There's a little bit of clicking. You bring the clicks. I remember that about you. Yeah. So
Yeah,
what was you?
I got a
What was your?
question I threw it into the fire.
Yeah. What was your question you threw into the fire?
I don't remember. I have bad short-term memory.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, then we're gonna roll with that. And just does anybody have a question to gift Teacup tonight that Teacup is not going to answer, but hopefully remember and hold?
Okay, I have a question.
Okay,
What made you
Blaine's got
decide
one.
on this color of your fur?
Okay. What made you decide on the gray
Oh,
of your fur? Beautiful. Thank you, Blaine. Any other questions or needs of questions?
Actually, I don't know if it's allowed. I have a question based on Jaysycamore's question towards Kordite.
Oh,
Okay, sure. What's your question?
I guess it'd be why not embrace the difficultness of a hard conversation?
Wow. Okay. This game is
Could-
getting
could-
different and interesting. Why not?
could I ask?
Mm-hmm.
Could I ask on top of that question? Because it's something I feel is very personal about what I have been going through a bit with something very similar in mind of Kordite's card. Is what happens when a question to you is something that loses identity of yourself? What is the point where it's too difficult?
Can questions unravel our identity? That's an important one. Thank you, Theo. These are getting deep. It makes me wonder, what is the Bridgemakers 2.0 with questions like this flying around? So we're going to pause there unless there's anyone remaining who wants to be asked or wants to ask somebody else a question. And we're going to talk about...
I have one question.
Okay. One more. Okay, go to
It might
Teacup.
be a bit uncomfortable. It's for you, Heyuh.
Ask away.
Why was your father a good salesman?
Oh, thank you. Why was my father a good salesman? That's a lovely question. I will hold that. Yeah, so we're going to jump back into the iteration part of this exercise, what we're doing here tonight. For those of you who arrived a little later, we are testing this world as part of our service as Bridgemakers, and this is going to be part of our ceremony with some tweaks, and some of the feedback we'll offer tonight might be integrated. I do want to find out from Scott. Yeah, I see you running across the bridge. Do you have any questions for us about your space that we can help you with?
I think just first of all, thank you everybody for the presence and the time to put the world through some motions. It was really meaningful to me to get a little confirmation that it seems like it'll work. Thanks for building the bridge, and yeah, I really appreciate it.
Would you like any feedback on your world? Is maybe the first question.
Yeah. I've set my dial to roast, so I'm ready for any kind of.
Are you gonna come sit in the fire and be like, throw your comments? Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
one that I've.
I'm on standalone quest, and everything is beautiful. On standalone quest. All the other
wonderful.
Ones, even on like.
There you go.
Yeah, even on like PC.
Your roasting is starting with telling you the stars are bright. This is going to be an interesting roast.
Toasty marshmallow roast.
Toasty roast. Okay, George has got one. What's your feedback, George?
Well, I don't have any experience in world creation, so I'm not sure how feasible this would be. But I guess the audio fall off, at least around the fire, making it so voices around the fire don't fall off too suddenly based on how people gather around the fire. So that people standing out there on the other side don't get too quiet.
Thank you, George.
Yeah, thank you for the audio feedback.
It looks like a couple of the cars you can grab from the bridge.
Uh-oh. More bridge shaker opportunities. Oh my goodness.
For those of you who don't know, we have a whole section in our Discord called Bridge Shakers, where sometimes conflicts will be brought towards bridge makers itself or towards just moments people are having that are struggling and like politics, etc. And it's a way that they are able to share and be given feedback in a contained space. Shaking the bridge is important about growing the bridge. We have to make room for Discord on Discord, but also in person.
Brian's question. Oh, did the fire steal it again? Hey, that's good.
Okay, who else has any feedback for the space?
I was gonna bump the white noise audio a little higher. There's like some crickets in the fire, and I noticed even at my highest volume, it's still like a little quiet. So would people like a little more white noise? Like, would that be helpful?
I like it the way it is. I like how quiet it is.
I think you could bump it up a little bit, because even at max, it's hard to notice. And it's easier to turn down than to exceed the limits of the game, obviously.
I mean, if people want to turn it down as a comfort thing, they can do that.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah, making it louder would be a good default. Like, personally, I have world audio off all the time.
Yeah.
Until I know there is some noticeable audio someone mentions. So you having it as loud as you need to is a good idea.
Interesting. Okay.
What about
Jose,
a bigger fire?
Oh, okay. I did have an environmental designer in here a couple of days ago, and he had a really interesting piece of advice for world building. He's very successful at what he does. He said, if it seems too small, make it smaller, or make it a lot bigger, but don't leave it where it's at. And what he described, which I don't think I'll give as good of explanation as he did, is that when we feel that sense of too small or too big, we're in a kind of uncanny valley in relationship to an object. And so if the intent was to make it tiny and make us feel really large, then make it tiny. And if the intent was to make it really large and make us feel really small, make it really large.
Are you talking about the fire?
Any objects in worlds. It's not just the fire. Yeah. So when he told me this, I thought, yeah, but you don't know that a little Mew made this fire, and it's not too small for the little Mew. So yeah, this is part of the testing process. I know. I was like, this is a perfect Scott fire. It's like a hobbit fire. You don't tell a hobbit to make a fire bigger. You say, thank you for letting me sit at your fire. Okay.
I appreciate that. That had not even occurred to me.
There we go. Oh, now the fire's going to get really big.
Oh gosh, yeah, it is a tiny little fire.
What'd you say,
I was
Gahooligian?
gonna say, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, if the fire, it seems like if the fire were bigger, they would be logs in there instead of the sticks, right? And so, like, you have to sort of find a happy medium. I think it's pretty neat the way it is, but it's it's your eye, but it's scale. Like these things scale kind of interesting when you move them around a bit.
Okay, good. We all have different perspectives.
Yes.
So
You
for
said larger fire, because I've seen them. Some can get so large that they overtake the vision of everyone. You don't see who's on the opposite end. Like, it's a comfortable size. Maybe if you wanted to make it larger, dig a hole down there to give the impression of a larger hip members.
There you go, fire pit.
Yeah, I think the fire is a good size. I think that would be a good idea.
Or build a ring around it.
There's a lot of really great aesthetic ideas here. Yep. Jose, let's have you go next, and then we're going to close our circle out with an appreciation game. And we'll call it good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if this feedback was already given, but I fell off that bridge.
I think that card I
and then fell off the bridge, and then I was expecting to respawn automatically, but I had to do it manually.
Yes, actually, that is part of my feedback. I'm glad you discovered. So I have fallen down this chasm, and I think I have been in multiple social apps, and I have fallen down a lot of things over the years. And I think this is my favorite. Yes, I've actually designed places you can fall into my worlds and have surprising experiences. But I think that chasm is my favorite chasm I've ever encountered. And for anybody interested after our event is over, because I don't want to make everybody do this, but we could actually go down there and feel it together. It's really uncomfortable, but it's also really important to know what that feeling is like when all you can see is just a little bit of the sky above and you're stuck. It's a way to initiate an emotional experience that we all have at times in our life, but actually choose it on purpose and feel that space. So we might need to tend to each other in our summit event. So if somebody falls off, then we can say, maybe they don't know how to respawn. Let's let them know. Or we could have a little sign up maybe that just says, chasm does not respawn, build bridge carefully, something like that. But I don't know that the answer is always to respawn. Sometimes the answer is to sit down there for a while and feel the moment.
I liked it. I liked it down there.
You felt it, right? It's intense. Does everyone want to get in the chasm, or do we want to close our circle first? Is there anybody who's scared of being in dark places?
I think we should all
worse when you're smaller.
Okay, close your eyes if you don't like falling down. But yeah, come try this out really briefly. Woo! Oh my God. Every time. Gets my heart racing.
I can't see you. Oh, there you are. Get in front of
Oh my gosh.
Go into the thing.
There's actually a ground.
Wow. So funny. Let's see. What am I doing? Anchor default. Nobody knows what's happening here. So as you can see, I'm in a chasm. Look at that. Look at that beautiful cliff. Maybe I'll just hang out down here and see how long it takes for people to join.
Hello.
Okay. Oh, did I fall down where everyone else is? Yay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, sorry, I think my paw is probably in your face.
You're good.
Okay.
You thought about it at this point.
Okay, I see somebody's legs. Is that the horse coming?
I'm so appreciating how this is getting navigated. Look at that. Oh my God.
I can't see him. Hold on. I think I have flight.
Oh
Okay,
wow.
hold on.
I kind of have the best picture ever of us all kind of on top of each other right now. This chasm
Yeah,
is
that's
magical,
right.
I have to say. Wow.
Hey, George.
Hi, Jay.
Oh, you're all so
Yeah,
beautiful, hanging out in different spots all over the
Where's
chasm.
that ribbon? Okay.
Oh,
So,
look
yeah,
at
I
that.
just
Okay,
move
does
a little bit
does
in your
everybody
direction.
here?
Oh, this is a really narrow. Sorry for me, narrow.
So first of all, look up at the sky and see how hard it is to see where we came from. That's the first piece to notice. And
Yeah, I can
then
see that.
just think for a moment. Take 30 seconds right now to imagine a spot in your life when you felt like you were in this position and there was no way to climb up. And just bring some of
can still communicate.
bring some of that fire that we've been building around each other to this spot with you right now, and just offer that for the you who was alone in this place. Try to take at least one really deep breath, and when you're ready, you can respawn, and we'll talk about it a little bit around the fire.
Okay. Oh, George, you're going up.
Oh.
I'm going further down.
Okay, I'm gonna respawn.
Okay,
I
there you
see you all
are.
up there. If anybody doesn't know how to respawn, just rejoin the world. Wow.
To the point where I was on top of a platform looking down to you guys. You guys weren't actually moving anywhere.
Okay.
Oh wow.
No, you're not on quest. I wonder if you like fell through a scene.
Yeah, the first one made me crash, Ruth.
Oh,
and
no.
so
Okay.
and then I came back because I was the one that had the norm of saying goodbye when you leave. So I was like, I better come back and tell you why I left.
Yeah, I'm so sorry you crashed. That's really good to know. Thank you,
Yeah.
Jay.
Yeah,
So
it was
we're-
really weird. It was like
we're
an
gonna-
audio stutter crash.
Let's see who else. Hopefully we get everyone back up. Let's look for all the people. Oh no. Okay, we're going to do our checkout soon. Can you plug in, Teacup, or are you just letting us know you're going to leave?
I could plug in. Yeah, 1 second. I have to move
Okay.
rooms. Be right back.
Okay, no worries. So before we jump into our final round, which is an appreciation game, what did you all notice who did try to fall down the chasm? What was that like for you? Or for you that didn't?
Liked it being a group activity because with it being so dark, you can't really tell where all those crevices and divots are at. So it was like, kind of throwing a handful of dust at a, leaky thing so you can kind of see all the different parts of it where everybody was standing and fell.
Yeah, I got a
And when
really...
I jumped down,
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, finish your thought.
Oh, I got a great photo of people all over the place down in the chasm. And it just...
I thought the chasm
Oh,
was
okay.
awesome.
Yay.
So I looked for the name tags and I jumped down where the name tags were, but then I ended up in the second time, this is right after the crash. Second time I ended up in completely black void, so could not see anybody. And so I don't know if it's because of my size, because I had a feeling when I was going to jump in there, it was going to be a lot more vast than most because of the size that I'm in. But I didn't think, but I didn't think I wouldn't see others around me. So I'm like, hello, anybody? And then I just respawned.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Jay. We all had different journeys going down there. What other observations did you make?
I think I got
it's
one.
amazing
I'm sorry, go ahead, Jaysycamore.
Yeah. Well, it's much as I think it's a great way to get close to people by accident.
Strategies on where to go in tough conversations by Jay.
Yeah.
Let's get closer in a chasm while we talk about hard things. Beautiful, Jay. Thank you.
Great way to start Human on Purpose, that's for sure.
There you go. That's the entrance. Who else? I think Gahooligian, you had one?
Yeah, actually very related. It very suddenly and abruptly pops the bubble of personal space, which is, on occasion fun.
Can crack you open. Yeah, that's true. I appreciated somebody said, there's somebody down there said, I see a leg in my face and I see an arm that I don't know whose arm it is. And we were definitely packed down there like Tetris avatars. So, yeah. Who else? What was that like?
Something that...
Actually, I do have to go, so can I just say my appreciations real quick?
Sure. Yeah, thank you, Teacup. I love that you remember that. Custom. Who do you want to throw the appreciation ball to? Scott. Catch the
I
ball.
have appreciation ball in my hand. I'm throwing it up in the air. Just catching it.
Yay, he got it.
Because you built this awesome world, and I actually think it's really cool.
Yay. Go, Scott.
Hey, thank you so much.
Thanks, Teacup. That's lovely.
I'm glad it was nice. Good night or good afternoon.
Bye.
We're going to do a group photo after this for those who can stay. Okay, I think we're transitioning into appreciation. I know it's a little chaotic tonight, but I appreciate everyone's flexibility. When we're iterating, it can be a little wonky, but that's okay. So why don't we keep going? Basically, the appreciation game is who wants to describe the rules who's seen this before. So I'm not the only one. What do we do for appreciation game?
Well, if I remember correctly, we speak to one individual and we recognize what they did and appreciate it.
Close, yeah. So it's about finding somebody who hasn't been appreciated and giving it to them. who would be least expecting to receive it from you. So we're stretching not into appreciating the easiest person, but actually appreciating the person that we're least connected to. And this is how we close the circle. And I invite you to feel this invisible ball in your hand when you throw it and hold it while you are being appreciated. This is actually a way to help our body language open and consider somebody else's perspective of us. Appreciations do not have to be positive. They can be like, hey, when your leg was in my face, I remembered how much I hate feet. And also, I appreciate that you were so kind to me and tried to move your leg. It can be like that. We've had some really deep appreciations in here before that have also been apologies. This is how you grew me. That's what appreciation means. It just is about measurement of where I'm at because of you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll go.
Hey.
Now, Brian, we've yet to formally meet, but I do appreciate that you did mute your background noise for everyone. It was very welcome. And I hope we have a positive experience from that. Not to say it was horribly negative.
Oh, thank you, Brian, for hearing that and still being here and sticking around. So you have the ball, Brian. Who would you like to throw it to?
Are they there?
If Brian is still here.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Alright, I didn't find the setting again.
Uh-huh.
I'll throw the ball to the sloth.
The sloth. The Jose sloth. You got it, Jose? There it is. Oh, what's your appreciation, Brian?
I appreciate that you're an animal.
Okay, that works. I very much appreciate that about Jose, too. Oh, all right, Jose. Your turn.
All right, I'm going to hand the ball over to Blaine Tanuki.
Blaine. Oh, you got it.
I don't have the little thingy, so I can't help you with hand thing.
You can hold it on your head and hold your hands open in your room as you're listening.
Oh, okay.
So, I don't know what your avatar is, but there's this VR game called Hot Dogs, Horseshoes, and Hand Grenades. And the enemies in there are literally hot dogs. They kind of look like you. And you reminded me of that game, so thank you.
Oh, lovely. All right, Blaine.
I gotta pass my ball to Jay.
Jay, which Jay? Jaysycamore?
I love this avatar so much. It's so amazing.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. Let's see. Who do I? Oh, yes, I'll throw it to Gahooligian for being okay after I stuck my foot in his face.
In their face? Yeah.
You know, for asking me,
her face. Thank you.
You know, about, having me question the my aversion to difficult conversations as well. I'll be answering that when I come up with one.
Oh, yay. Thank you, Jay. That was so lovely and vulnerable. And I also want to acknowledge, Gahooligian, that you identify as a she, and I think I called you he the other day, too, and I apologize.
Did you?
She.
Oh, I didn't notice. No, you're
okay.
fine.
Okay. Well, I want to clean it up if I do. So, yeah, I'm glad we remembered this. Beautiful. Your turn.
Oh, okay. I see that now.
That's okay. You just get to clean it up. All right. You got the ball, Gahooligian?
I'm so terrible at this when it's out of order. Has Scott gotten the ball yet? He did there first to get the ball, right?
He did, yeah.
Okay. Oh, geez, I already forget who's got. Oh, geez.
There's yours, correct?
Who hasn't?
Theo. You.
All right. Yeah, Theo.
Jay.
Theo, I'll throw the ball over to you.
Okay, Theo.
I really liked your share. It was really open and expressed a certain amount of vulnerability. I always appreciate that. It's really interesting to hear people talk when it's coming from a place, that's not always, on the outs. And so I appreciate.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, I appreciate our back and forth question there as well. I'll throw the ball. But I now know how to do this. Let's see if it works.
Oh, there we go. Woo.
Does it go? Does it go?
Who'd you go to?
To Jay.
To Jay. Yay.
Okay, I got it.
I very much appreciated today our conversation before the event, and I look forward to having more insightful conversations with you, with ideas and concepts that help bring us to understanding more and more without identifying into a bit of a fear or anxiety, as I keep coming back to a lot of the time. So I appreciate the guidance.
My pleasure. Oh, and there we go again. First it was hearts, and then it was this, because this is the one where it's so ridiculous. All right. And now tomatoes. Somebody threw tomatoes. Okay, so my next one. So I'm going to throw the ball to Kordite.
Kordite.
There you go. I'm afraid to hit any buttons at this point.
Okay.
And I'm just appreciative to you coming back and sharing with us and spending time with us again. It's been a while, so I'm glad to have you back.
Oh, that's true. Miss those antlers. You wear them well.
Oh, I was muted. Thank you. I'm just sitting here absorbing.
Your body language said it all. Yeah, it said it all.
Oh.
Yeah. I know.
Who you tossing to?
There we go.
Oh, is it me or
That's
Carl?
for you.
Whoop! Ah.
This one's easy. I appreciate you telling me to shut up.
What?
Oh my.
I mean, not those words, but you're welcome.
Oh, yeah, I get you, Kordite. I'm right there with you.
Don't worry.
Wait, what happened?
I did jump in front of Kordite's answer because it's a really good question that was asked, and not answering it was very important. Yeah.
Got it.
But Kordite heard it as
take it to the Discord. Yeah.
I'm gonna throw a quick my own, because mine for Kordite got stolen. So I just want to appreciate that. I love the boiling it down to a statement that sounds kind of harsh, but then you just add respectfully at the end, and it makes it make sense. You tell me to shut up respectfully.
You told me to fuck off, but respectfully. Yeah, okay. Got it.
Save it.
Yeah.
Respectfully.
Respectfully. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to toss this over to George. George. It's going slow-mo like the cards. Got it? Okay.
Oh, maybe I'll actually catch it this time.
Yeah, I think you might. Oh, you got it in your mouth. You catch those in your mouth sometimes.
That's how I know.
There you go. Chewing on it like a gumball. George, there's a way that you dance when you speak. I've told you this before, but I felt you dancing with more weight tonight. And it kind of got me excited a little bit, like you're growing roots. And I want to see how a tree dances.
Oh, that's easy. You missed it the other day, but it's like this. Yes.
Okay. There we go. It's a head in the ground. Lovely.
Mm-hmm.
You got the ball, George.
Well, first of all, thank you for acknowledging that even while I'm desktop mode, to find a way to express that sort of dance of the way I am. Yeah, something like that. For appreciation, Carl.
Oh, spit it out. You got it on your toe.
Oh my.
There you
Baby
go.
birded it.
Yeah, he baby birded it. Carl is the baby bird.
As I iterate some of the norms through my life, like I find myself thinking a lot of you and your examples and drawing a lot of inspiration from you. So I'm thinking about like some of the ways that you interact with communities and how that inspires me, like outside of VR, quite often.
Yeah.
Ooh, thank you.
Yeah. Wow. That's quite a acknowledgement.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a place where we all get to check ourselves. Has everyone received a ball?
Yeah, I was going to ask because
I think I was
don't know if anyone's left.
Yeah, Proactive got one. Yeah. Okay. So, Carl, would
Great.
you like to
That means
take
I
that
get to
home
cheat.
with you? Or are you
No.
going to give it? Okay.
I was mad that somebody took mine. Not mad, but I wanted to throw it over to Kordite again.
Kordite.
Because
Another ball for you.
A couple little aspects of the name, is like a homonym, at least for a term I use at work that I don't know what it means. So I kind of was thinking I wanted to ask you about that. And then as we were coming out of the chasm, I noticed your seat and hopped on, and you commented you had read my profile and engaged a little bit. So appreciate that a lot.
Yay.
Yeah, nice.
Well, Kordite, you
Thanks for
now
hopping on.
get to take the ball home with you tonight. And I want to thank everybody for coming and doing this semi-weekly check-in. We did all the things tonight. And we're going to get a photo next. And then our next event is Street Epistemology on Sunday. And would appreciate if you will RSVP for that so that we don't have to hunt or track people down. Okay, so where should we get? Oh, let's go to our bridge. Is our bridge all complete? Look at that beautiful bridge.
One tile missing.
One tile missing. Oh, look at
Yeah,
all
it's
those.
still in the fire. Hold on.
Look at all those questions we kind of answered. Don't grab the bridge, otherwise people will fall.
And I'm not falling in this. I'm not falling in that chasm.
Be careful with your controllers. I'm going
I
to.
think that one was broken.
I'm going to go into flight mode.
Sun's got a mind of its own.
So that I can take this picture, but also not fall. Okay, you all might need to resize a little bit so you can get on the bridge. This might be the marketing photo for bridge makers for our summit. So make sure you're smiling. Woo! Whoa! Whoa. Okay.
Well, let's see.
Good.
There we go.
There we go. All right. Now, hold on. I gotta get my camera working. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm good. We need to
All right.
smush together.
You're good. You're good. You're good. Let me see if I can get my camera working as I sync. No. Okay. Maybe I will come perch on the bridge and everybody just not move so I don't fall. Oh. Okay. Here we go. So while I position myself here, what is the word for the night? What do we want to say as a title, spirit title for our evening?
Small campfire.
Tiny campfire. Oh, I love that.
Tiny campfire.
Tiny
The size that
campfire.
matters.
Oh, beautiful. Tiny campfire. Lovely. Okay. And while we're here, we're going to say goodbye to our stream. Are there any pieces of advice for people curious about bridge makers that anybody would like to offer on top of our bridge of questions? What would you say?
Yeah, if you're curious about Teacup's question, I already answered it in the comments channel.
Join our Discord to find out all those answers. There you go.
There you go. It's a cliffhanger.
Yay.
That's it.
Where's
Okay.
the camera for the stream? Is it your actual camera? Or?
Yeah, it's my actual camera. It's right in front of us. So let's just say goodbye to all of our, 2 or 3 probably audience
Bye-bye.
YouTuber. Bye-bye. Yay! Yay! See you next week.
Don't be shy to show up.
Oh,
Good
before
deal.
I hit.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Yes, before I go to bed, I did want to say this. I really did. I would like to have it on the appreciation ball to you, because that is like jumping down the cavern and having a conversation is one of the coziest, meaningful things. Because I like the symbolism of being able to relate to one another in a dark place. I think that is.
Thank you, Jay. You got the nuance of it. It's important. Yeah, we gotta find the dark places and bond with each other there too.
Yeah. I'll probably ask you the name of the YouTube channel over Discord, but I'm usually in bed by now. But this was wonderful. Yes, I'm glad I was able to make it this time. Yes. Okay.
So good to see you.
I do have yes.
Yeah.
One more thing. I do have a friend over who's going to help me on a fursuit Sunday, so I won't be able to make it. I probably won't make it to, but I'll keep my eye open for future events. But yes, it's wonderful. Yeah.
Join us for our summit, which is 2 Sundays from now.
Okay.
We'll do this again. Okay. Good. Well, I want to tell Gahooligian and Blaine.
Yeah, good night.
Just so you know, you're standing right next to each other. You both play Palia, I believe, right, Gahooligan? You played Palia before?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
So Blaine is our first Bridgemaker Palian who has made it into Bridgemakers and made it to an event. So I've been holding on to that all night, but welcome, Blaine. Yeah.
Welcome.
And anybody who has follow-up questions or comments or hellos or goodbyes, I will just probably go hang out by the fire for a little bit. And you're all welcome to let me know if you have questions. But I love that you're all standing on the bridge still. And then we'll talk about the world when you're...
Handle another fall down there.
Hey, real quick, because I think this is a question that might be best answered.
Okay.
For conflict resiliency, I have studied conflict and used the word negotiation. So I've done some research into that stuff, but through more of FBI negotiation type stuff. So my background might be a little unconventional, and I wanted